Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is now called the ikaricast Classic. We'll explain why we went the name change. But first, I am Fighter Cows. Over there is my constant buddy, 16-Bit Jeff.
As a once great 90s rapper once said, don't call it a comeback.
And with us for this inaugural episode, our first guest is Dalo Relance. We were just going to keep it to me and Jeff, but Dalo was actually there at what our topic is for this episode, so we were like, it'd be a waste not to invite him. So, say hi, Dalo.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on the show, guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, more to merrier, dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. That's an old thing from an old MMA podcast I used to listen to.
Kitty cat.
So, now that I said who we are, like I said, we'll explain what the ikaricast Classic is and why we decided to rename this show. It's because now we have a kind of a brand split. Jeff, what did we do with the original ikaricast? We didn't just throw it away.
No, we actually revived it under a new team, which, have we confirmed who the new team is, or is that still under discussion?
I think it's pretty much confirmed.
Okay, so, we can officially confirm it here, is that the two hosts that will be taking our respectful positions as hosts of the ikaricast will be Wheels, he's the CEO, correct?
Yeah, he's
of
the head.
Hero Club? Okay, he's the head, CEO of Hero Club, and Ben.
As Wheels would call him, first recruit.
Yep. And while we're done being the main guys of doing the ikaricast, this is what we're doing right now. Like, they're the main dudes taking care of the main portion, while me and Jerry each, I think, couple of episodes, like, we would come in and do, 15-minute segments for the entirety of the ikaricast, but this segment will be known as ikaricast Classic due to us being the creators and sheep herders of the original series to begin with. So, yeah. And
these will be on YouTube and another place Jeff brought to my attention.
I can also confirm, if you don't mind me, dude. Okay. Not only on YouTube, but we would like to announce that we have a vid.me page. So look forward to that, and it will be announced through not only Geek Fighters Twitter, but it will also be shown through our respective personal Twitters as well, too, later in the day. Yep. So look forward to that.
And that's what this is, and like always, you can send your emails and feedback and all that to the same place. It's pretty much the same place for the classic and for the new revived version under Wheels and Ben, the ikaricast at gmail.com. Just so you know, we still like reading the mail. All right, with that out of the way, the PlayStation Experience, the third annual PlayStation Experience. I can't believe it's already been 3 years. Just happened the keynote was this Saturday, right?
Yeah, an interesting fact, it was also held on the 22nd birthday of the PlayStation's release in North America, too.
Wow. PlayStation's old enough to drink now.
Yeah, I know.
It was old enough to drink, years ago. So.
It's kind of nuts. I mean,
yeah,
I remember
it is nuts to think about. Kind of
old,
just a
but
kid
that's fine.
It is crazy because not only this year was the 22nd anniversary of the original PlayStation, but it was also the 15th anniversary of the original Xbox.
Well, Xbox is a sophomore in high school. All right.
Jesus Christ, man, we're getting old.
Yeah, you get used to it after the first.
I know, but it's just the initial shock. Well, or that could be the Mountain Dew talking. I don't know.
Might be both.
Yeah.
Well, all right, with that out of the way, like we said, since these are short, we're kind of more matter-of-fact in these episodes. So without further ado, Jeff has show notes, and I have a list of what was unveiled, announced, and all that at the show. Starting us off was Uncharted, right?
Yeah, which was funny enough because you and I can't speak for Doll, but when you and I were watching it on the 3rd, a couple days ago, we actually thought it was the re-announcement of the supposed upcoming Tomb Raider game, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
We thought so.
And I always thought it was Uncharted the moment I sat there and watched it. Mostly because of the animations matched up with Uncharted because I played it to death on my PS4. So I always felt it was Uncharted, but I didn't really think it was Chloe until the end.
Yeah, that surprised me too, because I remember hearing rumors aplenty when it was announced about the story DLC, even before the initial launch of Uncharted 4 early in the year, that I thought it was going to be Sam taking that position, not
A lot of people
Chloe.
did, yeah.
But I
A lot
think
of
it was
people
because of the
felt that way, I
feedback
think.
from the fans that they were ticked off that she was like a throwaway character in the main campaign just by that letter that you see at the beginning of the game. Maybe the original idea was Sam, but they changed it. Who really knows? But yeah, the main character Chloe is going to be Chloe, and the Dean's returning as the companion to the game, and it's going to be called The Lost Legacy. Interesting fact: the length of the DLC is going to be longer than the last DLC that was released for The Last of Us, but it's going to be shorter, obviously, than the main campaign story for Uncharted 4.
All right. Well.
And one more thing, standalone too. You don't need to have the game.
Just like Infamous
First Light. Yep. So that's another tidbit too to know.
And by the way, I'm going to refrain from commenting, so that way, like we said, these are so matter of fact, and we're trying to keep these short. Jeff, just run us down. You got the show notes. I'm not going to talk. I'll talk until after the facts.
All right. Okay, so after the reveal of Uncharted Lost Legacy from Naughty Dog, up came another surprise that sadly was leaked thanks to Polygon, and that was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. The upcoming fourth installment to the MVC franchises will be returning to with the 2v2 format last seen in Marvel vs. Capcom. It's to be taken influences from both the original MVC and Marvel Superheroes in regards to game's mechanics. Returning from MVC 1 is the Infinity Gem system. Last seen in Marvel Superheroes to replace the X Factor system from MVC 3. The returning characters so far, the vets, are Ryu from Street Fighter and Morgan from Darkstalkers on Capcom's side, and from Marvel Entertainment side is both Captain America and Iron Man respectively. However, the newcomers from both sides for the fourth installment are Captain Marvel, also formerly known as Miss Marvel, from Marvel Entertainment, and from Capcom, a beloved character that has been missed aplenty, Mega Man X from the aforementioned Mega Man X series. Next is Destiny, or as I like to call it, Density, and really nothing was shown about the upcoming sequel that's supposedly coming out fall of next year. However, a seasonal event known as The Dawning was announced, and which will be including new quests. So that was announced for this season later in the month. But after the little spiel about Destiny, it was a beloved icon from the PlayStation's past that made a return to bask in the sun once more, and that's beloved icon known as Crash Bandicoot. And the first reveal trailer for the upcoming remaster of the classic PSX trilogy known as Insanity Trilogy. However, later in the day it was revealed that the time trials that were key components of the first two games would not only return for the original for 2 and 3, but also would be shown for the first time in the original. It will have shared custom controls for all three games, and it is being rebuilt from the ground up using game's original geometry from the source files from Naughty Dog's heyday back in the 90s when they were originally creating these games. It was confirmed to be released in spring 2017, so around the time frame, probably March, April, just speculating. And it's going to be $40, and it will be available both retail disc and digital download for the PlayStation 4. Next is everyone's favorite pissing break known as Call of Duty. And yes, for those who are wondering, the COD World League is returning once more, but this time with a $4 million price pool. And that was about it. Now back to the important things. Resident Evil 7's Biohazard's final day demo was revealed at the event, and it was confirmed that you could have the ability to play it with the regular DualShock or the PSVR, just like the original demo. However, this time around, it was finally had support of the recently released PlayStation 4 Pro. And it was also announced, I forget the title of the DLC, but it's going to be launching near around the timed window of the game's launch in January 2017. And ironically enough, continuing with Capcom, was the unveil of Akuma for Street Fighter V, and of course everyone's favorite master of baiting, Ono-san. He originally stated there wasn't a second season planned for the game. As we all know, he loves to lie, and of course, he was lying, and Akuma is going to be the first character of that season, and the additional 4 will be new characters to the franchise. Whether or not are these actually new characters or already existing characters from other famous Capcom franchises is yet to be known. Then everyone's favorite grandmaster of PlayStation, Yoshida-san, came out to thunderous applause and chanting. There was a report. There were even reports when he came out, he saw a shadow, which means that The Last Guardian was delayed for an additional 6 months. I'm just joking. The game's out. I hope you guys enjoy it. It actually was released today, so whoever got it, I'm hoping you enjoy it. The game that was in development for almost a decade. But after The Last Guardian, I would like to say a launch trailer that was unveiled at the event. The 20th anniversary announcement of Parappa Rappa was made for PlayStation 4 with not only HD compatibility, but also support for HDR. And after the initial announcement, it was also shown that both Patapon and Loco Roco, both originally released for PlayStation Portable, will also too get PlayStation 4 releases with both HD compatibility and HDR supports. Then the big one itself. You thought it was Crash? You thought it was Last Guardian? Nope, the big one itself was announced. The savior of Sony's upcoming holiday 2017 launch schedule, Knack 2! And this time, it has co-op.
Well, the original always had co-op.
I know, but it's nice to emphasize that it also has
All hail!
After that Nays announced that was Knack 2, GT Sport was once again shown off, but this time, if I now clarify, I don't know if it was originally announced for HDR support, but this is the first time I knew it was announced with HDR support, and it was officially confirmed to be forward compatible with the recently released PlayStation 4 Pro. Next, Sally was the only released AAA, the only AAA developed RPG that was shown at the entire event, and that was Ni no Kuni 2. And it was officially announced that the sequel to the beloved 2013 PS3 release will release sometime next year for the PlayStation 4. And then after that announcement, there was a sizzle reel of indies for both PS4 and Vita, known simply as the lightning round portion, showcased by everyone's favorite guy over at PlayStation, Gio Corsi. Including the confirmation of both Yakuza Kiwami, which I have to clarify is an HD remake of an already existing 2-year-old HD remake, so remixception, everyone. And Yakuza 6, the Song of Life, are releasing a year apart for the PlayStation 4, so we can all look forward to that. And I hate to break it to you, Zeri, to let you know that Yakuza 6 will be the only way you can play Virtua Fighter 5. Including the lightning round portion that we were just talking about for the keynote was East Origin, coming to both console and portable for both PlayStation 4 and Vita. Garu, Mark of the Wolves, and what was the SNK game, dude? I forgot to type it down.
Windjammers.
Windjammers is also coming to console. And if I recall, Garu, Mark of the Wolves was out of that list the one that was released that day, correct? For
Yes.
PS4 and Vita? Okay.
And Crossbuy.
Crossbuy too. Okay, I did not know that. Thank you for bringing that up. Included in the indies was Dreadnought, a space sim from Jaeger, the developer of Spec Ops: The Line, and the original developer of Dead Island 2 before it was mysteriously put in cryostasis. It was announced as a console exclusive for the PlayStation 4, and just a little FYI, it's also Greg's favorite game for the event, Beyond!
Downstairs.
Okay, and now if I go out of a little context, I apologize, but this was shown at the event. We saw a new trailer for Nioh, the upcoming Demon Souls-esque samurai-era game from beloved developer Team Ninja. There was announced a single-player expansion for Grav Rush 2 featuring Raven. We got brand new footage of the upcoming PlayStation 4 exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn. A new game from the developer of Resogun, House Marquee, known as Nex Machina. And to cap it off was the game that everyone was expecting to be announced, and even Jerry were extremely disappointed. The Last of Us Part 2. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention. A little announcement of a beloved revival known as Wipeout Omega Collection for the PlayStation 4 was also announced.
I was thinking about you when I heard that.
Oh, thank you.
Is that everything?
Yeah.
All right.
What about the new trailer for Ace Combat?
Oh yeah, Ace
Ace
Combat
Combat
and the announcement of Let It Die from Suda 51 that was released that day as
And Let It Die is free. And there's a new game called Vane that we just know it's apparently Sony, the official Sony blog said it's a third-person adventure game. That's all we know.
Mm-hmm.
I actually played it, and it's a little bit like that. It's like a little open world exploring game.
Oh, nice.
Well, all right.
It's very chill.
We're at
I
15.
like that.
We're at 16 minutes already. But this is the inaugural episode. Even up to 25 minutes is all right with me for this first one. Dalo, you're the guest. How was the experience like from your perspective, sitting there in the keynote, and anything cool that you saw on the show floor?
It was fun. I didn't get into the keynote just because it was so hard to get into it, and I decided to have breakfast before going there. But I saw the keynote outside, and that was fun. It was smaller than I thought it was going to be, but it was still packed because there was a lot to do there. So I think my things, the most impressive things I saw there was Horizon, Neo, and Gravity Rush. But I saw a lot of good things there.
Oh, nice.
My only problem was like signings were kind of a mess, but it's okay. Like other than that, the community was really fun. I liked the lighting in one part of the place, but it started to hurt my eyes, and eventually they gave us sunglasses just so we weren't hurting our eyes and straining. So,
that was very nice.
So overall, I liked it. There was a lot of third-party games there, a lot of VR games, first parties, and a whole section dedicated to indies. So I got to play ukulele and a Cosmic Star Heroine and a number of other games. So
nice.
So lots of good stuff there. Like it was a well put together place, save for the signings, but overall, I enjoyed my time there.
Nice.
I'm
That's great to hear.
that all three of us will be there next year.
That would be nice if we were able to next year. Yeah, that would be definitely a nice.
Did you get to try any of the VR?
I tried GT Sport. I tried what's it called? Farpoint, and I tried Ace Combat. The only one I didn't get to try was Resident Evil, but it was impossible to get into it.
I imagine.
Did you get any like motion sickness? Did it feel good? Was it?
I've never gotten motion sickness from VR before. I've tried VR probably like 6 or 7 times at this point with the PlayStation VR. So I've never experienced motion sickness. Just my main problem was just relearning controls of through the actual headset itself. So I've never gotten motion sickness. Just more spending time learning controls, and that's about it.
That's cool. So it doesn't feel off-putting or nothing.
Well, for me, like I know there are some people where it's like where people have felt that way. I personally have not.
Actually, it does vary. I can imagine myself like probably handling it better, but then again, I am the kind to get sick just from first-person shooters. So
yeah, and I think
it might depend on the game. Yeah,
I think it's because of the frame rate too. Because
that's
I imagine.
True. That is
because
true.
If it's an unstable 30 frames, because I've seen it, I think it's because of frame rate. Because I remember when I brought a game over that you played, it was 60 frames, and you didn't feel sick whatsoever. It was ever at your house, or you came over my house one time.
I don't know if it's known, but at least for PlayStation VR, the frame rate is rendered at 90 frames a second to reduce lag. So that's one reason why if you see the graphics on PlayStation VR, they take slight hits here and there, but it's mostly because it's rendering at a super high frame rate.
Well, that makes me more happy to try VR if the frame rate is put above graphics, because that means because like Jeff said, for some reason 60 frames and higher, I don't get motion sick.
But when it comes to an unstable 30 frames, that's when you get sick.
Yep. That explains a lot. That explains why the original Doom made me so motion sick. I did not know the original Doom was 24 frames when it first came out.
Yeah, it was.
So, all right, Dalo. I guess I'll go next, if that's okay, with Jeff. Unless Jeff feels.
I'll go right ahead. I don't mind, dude.
All right. Well, for me, I sure liked this a whole heck of a lot more than E3.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff told us, told me like when we were just chilling, without recording, that he said E3 felt safe, and I agree with him completely. It felt almost, I don't know if they were saying we wanted to save this for the experience, but it felt like their A show was the experience more than E3. There was parts where I, to use wrestling terms, marked out during the PlayStation Experience keynote compared to the this year's E3 keynote. And
you and I pulled a Maximilian, dude, when they announced NBC Infinite.
Marvel vs. Capcom, Windjammers, which came out of nowhere, and I'm glad, though. I do remember that game from the Neo Geo days. Developed by Data East, though. I forgot that part. It's SNK Machine, but it was a Data East developed game.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Data East?
Oh, yeah.
There's some lulls there. Destiny and Call of Duty, like, Destiny's old. Not that old, but, I'm sick of it. I mean, that's what I mean by old. And so, same with Call of Duty.
Okay, so it's decrepit in your mind. Okay.
Yakuza, I'm glad. Jeff did bring up that an HD remake did come to the Wii U before. I mentioned when it came to the Wii U that I wanted it on PlayStation 4 because I was like, hey, this is a game that started on PlayStation. Where's the remake for PlayStation? And here
so
we
you
go.
finally got your wish. 2 years.
Yeah.
It only took 2 years.
And Yakuza 6, which Jeff mentioned, if you were paying attention to the Just the Facts part. Virtua Fighter 5 will be playable on it. And, if I remember correctly, it'll even have online, which is kind of awesome.
That's cool.
Although,
that's cool, yeah.
Jeff also said it is weird that the only way I can play it on PS4 right now and online is through another game.
Gameception, I tell you, man.
Crash Bandicoot looks great. They're actually giving a crap. They're not. They could have just slathered new graphics on it, but Jeff mentioned they are using the code of the original to do this remake, which is kind of cool. I had a lot of fun with this PSX. I was just wondering where the heck Shenmue 3 was, but
I know that was the weird thing about both E3 and Experience this year. Now, when I get to my portion, I'm not bashing it. It's just like I just find that surprising that they didn't announce anything about Shenmue 3. I mean, the game was announced back at 2014?
2015.
Of 15, but still, it's been a year. I mean, you expect to see a progression. I mean, I'm not bashing Yu Suzuki. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that he pulled a you know what. You know what I mean?
No, he definitely
he did pull Tim Schafer, but it's Kickstarter. It gets me paranoid. Don't get me wrong.
True. And also Danganronpa, I'm okay with them. So, and the sizzle reel, right? That's one last thing I wanted before I hand it off to Jeff. Put the logos of the games during the sizzle reel. I knew some of them, but I didn't know all of them.
It's funny because you mentioned that you watched a recent Kind of Funny episode when they were talking about their experience with PlayStation Experience. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but you get where I'm coming from. Yeah. I agree with what Greg Miller said, and you just said it just now. They need to show the logos because who knew which game was which, if it was just specifically for the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 with the PSVR specifically.
And also, actually, one last thing before I give it to Jeff, because it's already nearing 25 minutes. Dang. I am not sick of the Horizon Zero Dawn trailers. I think Colin or the other guy said he was sick of seeing trailers of Horizon. I'm like, I don't feel it's saturated yet.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And how about you, Jeff?
Well, I guess it's my time to talk about my experience. Okay, ironically enough. For overall, I said this to you after we watched it. It was this Saturday, correct? Or it was during the weekend.
It was this last Saturday on the 3rd.
Yeah, it was the weekend. Yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again. I think this was not only better than last year's event, but I think it was better than both this year and last year's E3s combined, to be blatantly honest. I think Sony knocked it out of the park this year with what they announced at their own specific event. I mean, I was dumbfounded. Like what Dawes said, like I love the franchise, but he knew more about the animation and how the maneuver of the characters act in an Uncharted game. So I was actually surprised, even more so to find out it was Chloe, because like we said, in rumor upon rumor, we thought it was like, oh, it was going to be Nate's brother, Sam. No, turns out it was Chloe. Maybe the original idea was Sam, but maybe because of fan backlash, because of how Chloe was treated in the game, maybe they changed it. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to that, and I'm liking the fact that it's in the same stance as Infamous First Light, that it's a standalone DLC that you can buy without having the base game, which I like. Like I said before, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I am hyped. I just hope that rumor about both X-Men and Fox-related Marvel characters isn't true, because god damn it, I want to do Berserker Rage once more. I'm sorry, Berserker Barrage. Yeah, with what they announced, like, I'm really looking forward to Horizon Zero Dawn, and I disagree with whoever said that at Kind of Funny. Like, I want to see more of this game. I'm really glad that Sony has their own action RPG that's akin to most of other ARPGs out there, like, say, for example, The Witcher. And I really hope that eventually one day that will too happen with Xbox, to be blatantly honest. Overall, like I said, I think what they showed, what they announced, I think they knocked it out of the park. The only thing I was disappointed with, I knew was going to happen in Jerry Nudis 2. The Last of Us 2. It's not the fact that it was announced, it's the fact that it's the same characters. Like, my main issue with The Last of Us, I feel like even with the first game alone, it was a complete story. It did not need a sequel. I feel it's like a unnecessary sequel, akin to how I felt when I first watched Terminator 2 all those years back when I was a child. That said, I'm happy for the people that won that game. Just for me, I'm kind of disappointed because the way I wanted The Last of Us is to be an anthology series akin to Dead Rising. You know, same universe, but for the eyes of different perspectives for each installment. But I'm glad for the people that won it. And overall, I think this is Sony's strongest outing in a very long time. And I give them kudos, and I hope they do an even better job both at the E3 and next year's PlayStation Experience. And I'm done.
Well, all right. Hey,
cool.
we're still under 30 minutes. Great.
Okay.
A little over 25, but under 30. I can work with that. Well, Dalo, you could find Dalo at DaloR on Twitter. What else do you have online?
That's about it. Just check out MHQ and Mecha Talk when you can. I appreciate all the support over there.
That's
which is what I represent.
mahq.net.
Yes.
And mechatalk.net, which is their forums.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I haven't visited in a while. Man, I gotta visit. I used to actually talk with some good people there.
Oh, nice.
Jeff, you have 16-bit Jeff on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
16-bit Jeff on Twitter. That's like the main hub of where you can reach me for regards to social media. And like I said, that we announced earlier in the episode, there will be an official hub for the game, the Geek Fighters, for all of our content, including the revival of ikaricast and this segment known as ikaricast Classic, that you can view by going to vid.me.com. I'm sorry, vid.me/thegeekfighters. If I screwed it up, don't worry, it'll be in the description when the first episode goes up.
Exactly. And as for me, at Ikari Radio, IKARIRADIO, Facebook.com/FighterCows. Everywhere else I'm FighterCows. It's just Twitter and Tumblr where I'm Ikari Radio. And FighterCows is FIGHTERXAOS. Just go to Facebook. You should be able to find all the other links from there. And, of course, we're sponsored by Hero Club. That's hero-club.com because Hero Club without the dash is taken.
Mm-hmm.
And thebrokeninfinite.com where we have an exclusive variant cover for a comic coming.
By of all things, a Brazilian club of all things.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's it. It's nearing 30 minutes, so with that said, all I got is Nimyo Kanryo.